back to the workshop, and in this video we're going to be preparing the Limbo Dancer. Again. So, what had happened was I was doing funfly type things, just practicing it because it's the first ever model I've had that does funfly sort of aerobatics and loops and touch and goes and everything. So I was practicing loops, touch and goes. I get Dad to put a clip in here. So obviously, as you've just seen, it's a lot of looping, touch and goes. I don't know if you've seen touch and goes because I was just practicing learning this out written and getting the CG right. So it's just loop, touch and go, loop, touch and go. So with that, things do break occasionally. Maybe not occasionally, but with this particular one of the times there was a heavier touch and go and it's bent the undercarriage, but I don't think, no, let me rephrase, it didn't bend the undercarriage, it's broken the undercarriage. So because of who, I don't actually know who did it, someone that made this undercarriage has done a really crap job making the undercarriage, so it's just not the best. So I'm going to be redoing that and straightening it and everything, but at some point, not entirely sure, because we'd kept, there was nothing wrong with it at the time. I'm wondering if it's happened in transport, is that it's not really supposed to do that. So that's going to be another thing that needs fixed. Also on the wing, it needs rehinged because the hinges have just pulled out, but that's simple. So I'm going to stop blabbering on and start fixing this. So the first thing I'm going to do is take the engine out and the plumbing. So that's the engine and plumbing. I'm going to start with the plumbing just so it's out of the way. That's that. So now I've just got the tubes. And that's the plumbing out. Simple. So it's literally just bits of foam packing it in with a little bar back here that, yeah, you can't actually see it. There's a bar here holding the tank and battery in. So plumbing's out. I think the only thing holding this in is a bit of tape, because I put a bit of tape. Is that might need a new firewall. Maybe. Right, so I'm going to cut that bit of tape off and see what happens. It might just magically fall off. Right, so let's disconnect that push rod there. So I need to disconnect the throttle push rod to get the engine off. Simply like that. Yeah. And the engine's off, just about. How am I going to do this, because that's glued in there. I'm going to need to bring it out the other end, aren't I? That's annoying. That's actually really annoying. So let's just put that there. And do I have a screwdriver handy? Yeah, I do.
Time lapsing?
No.
You're not?
No.
Oh. Is there anything in particular you want on barbecue tonight?
Lamb burgers.
Lamb burgers. Okay.
I might not have had to do that. How am I gonna...
Sorry?
Talking to the camera.
You said it wasn't recording?
No, I said it wasn't time lapsing.
Oh, so it is recording?
Yes,
oh,
it
right.
is. See, because we put the bend in this throttle push rod. Oh no, it's alright actually. Because we can just take the entire thing out. Things get a lot easier when things are broken, because they all just fall out. Right, so I'm not fixing the engine first because that's going to take the longest, so I'm going to fix the other two things first. And the first is this bit. So that's still in shot? Yes. So what we're going to do is we're going to bend this straight because it was bent before, and then is it this side? This side, it's broken here. So that should be sat there. Well, it shouldn't, it should be sat more here because it's bent. So I'm going to try bend that straight. Might need to heat it up. I can guarantee I'm going to need to heat it up. Yeah, are we doing that? And for all the people that might complain that I'm too young to be using a blowtorch, Dad is stood behind the camera watching. He's just not in the video. Just thinking there, actually. I don't actually need to bend this undercarriage. I'll be able to get away with just turning it 180. I'm going to bend it straight, but I don't actually need to bend it as much as I thought I did. I might not be able to bend it straight anymore because it's cut down a bit. But yeah, I'm just going to turn that 180. Yeah, that'll work. Turn it 180. Once it's cooled down a bit. Then I'm going to fix this. Is that cooled down? Yeah. Yeah, that just suddenly dawned on me while I was doing that. I can just turn this 180. Now, while this is off, I'm going to give it all a good clean underneath it, because it is all oily. Stop trying to slide off the bench. So if we just turn this around this way, we've got an undercarriage that's bent the right way. For the most part. Tempted actually to fix this. No, I'm not going to do that. Never mind, forget I said that. I'm literally just cleaning it and putting it back on. And that's Dad away to get the lamb burgers. So it might get to the point where I actually have to do this again because I bent the undercarriage, and I might just turn it back around the other way like I've just done. Dad left something at home, so I had to come back and get it. Yeah, so now we're going to move on to doing these bits. I'm just going to do them both because they're not done very well. But I do need to try find some wire, but I can't be bothered stopping the camera, so Dad can edit this bit. So for a first time ever doing that, that doesn't look too terrible. For all I know, it might be. But it doesn't look terrible. It's pretty strong as well. So the next thing to do is get the firewall glued back in. I've decided to take the engine off of the engine mount just to make it all a bit lighter, easier to move, easier to get around. So all I'm going to do is put it back in that way, not the way you just seen. Slap a load of epoxy in around it, clamp it here and here, and that should just hold it in place. And then I'm not going to bother recovering around here. I'm going to put some blend on tape around the edges just to hold it all nicely. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm not going to put it on time lapse or anything because I'm literally just slapping some epoxy in and clamping it. So I'll see you once it's dry and glued. I've decided to dangle it from the roof so that all the epoxy that I put in drips in down the back of the firewall, so it makes like a seal round it, because I don't want the epoxy dribbling that way. I want it to go down that way towards the firewall. So this is where we've got to. I did film, or I thought I had filmed taking the clamps off this and putting some tape, blend on tape around here. I didn't, so I'm going to fill you in with what I've done. It's not much. I've taken the clamps off, made sure it was all straight, and then put some blend on tape around the edges of the covering because the covering was coming up and I couldn't be bothered recovering around here, so it's just some tape to hold it down. Yeah, so that's basically all I've done. So now I need to get the engine bolted back on, get throttle set back up. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I just need to do it. So I'm not sure where I got to with this, but if it's where I think I got to, I've since got engine on, plumbing in, and throttle all sorted. So that's basically everything sorted. You've seen what I've just done, but I will just run over everything. Firewall was broken out, so I'd taken the engine off, take plumbing out to glue that back on, and then I took a video with it dangling to show what I was doing, how that was all happening. I've got the undercarriage bent back into the right place and turned around and fixed, but again you've just seen that. So now in this video it might end up being two. So I'm gonna do an wait, no, no, I'm not going to. I'm gonna go get the wing, because the ailerons need sorted with that, because it's ripped the hinges out. So all I'm going to do with that is cut the hinges clean off and rehinge it. Nothing too exciting really. But I'll clear this bench, get it over and show you what we're dealing with. So this is the issue here, that it's pulled the hinge actually out of the aileron. It's done it to this one as well, just not as much. So you can actually see where it's pulling. These two are alright, it's just these two here. So I'm just going to slice it all off and rehinge it. So I might get away with doing it with, can you actually see? Yeah, you can see. This knife blade might not be sharp enough, but we'll see. I need to expect the horn, clever, sorry. So that's that disconnected. Now got a flappy thing. So it's literally just pulled the hinge out the aileron. And the aileron's off. So it's actually just pulled this apart a bit, just split it. So I'm going to drip a bit of thin CA into that, and then I'm going to just rehinge everything. So it appears we're going to have to do a bit of covering on this before we actually hinge it on, but that doesn't really matter too much. It'd still do the hinges. So I'm just going to use 4 proper full hinges, not cut in half, just because they have shield and pulled out. That's why I'm going to use 4. I'm gonna go just next to this one. So yeah, it's just simply hinged. But I need to do some covering before I can actually get it on. This makes noises when it heats up. Yeah, so I need to do a bit of covering along here just to get it all restuck back down, and some there. So I'll let Dad edit the bit out where this is heating up, and I'll see you in a bit. So when you're doing hinging, to get the hinges in the right place, line it up where you want it to be. So let's go with about there. So like on that side. Small. So let's go with about there. Put little dots that are too big. And then go in between those dots, because then you'll have that bit of wiggle room to line everything up properly. How the hell has that happened? Just managed to snap the knife blade inside there. That is the first time I've ever snapped a knife blade. How the hell has that happened? What's the point? How am I going to get it out? I've never done that before. Well, that's new. Didn't actually know they broke like that. Yeah, leave a comment down where the comments are if you've ever snapped a knife blade in a hinge while cutting the hinge, and if so, how did you get it out? Because I don't think what I've just done was probably the best way to get it out. It might be, not sure, but right, so I'm going to stop the camera, get this hinged because it's going to take a long time, so I'll bring you back once this is hinged on. So that's it, all hinged, glued into the right place, etc. Still got all the travel that we had before. Yeah. Just as much travel as the other one. Going up and down. So yeah, that's going to be the end of this video. There will be a maiden at some point, probably not too long after this video goes up. That will be the next video. But for me and no one else in the workshop, I'll see you the next time. Oh, and if you're liking this sort of content, leave a like. If you haven't already, subscribe. And I'll see you next time.